Admiral Tay Bin stood on the bridge of the diplomatic vessel Times Harmony *, watching Earth grow smaller in the viewport. He was heading to another negotiation, another peace talk, another chance to prove that humanity could solve problems without violence. For 75 years, Earth had done exactly that. They had joined the Galactic Council as the newest members. And in all that time, not a single human weapon had been fired in anger. Tay Bin was proud of this record. He remembered his training at the academy, where instructors taught them that true strength came from wisdom, not weapons. Earth's philosophy was simple. Every conflict could be resolved through understanding and compromise. The galaxy had tested this belief many times, and humanity had never failed. "Admiral, we're receiving the ceremony broadcast from Earth," his communications officer said. Tay Bin nodded. "Put it on screen." The viewport shifted to show a massive celebration in Seoul. Millions of people filled the streets, waving flags and cheering. Today marked 50 years without military conflict. 50 years of perfect peace. The Council had awarded Earth the highest honor possible, the Beacon of Peace designation. Only 3 species in galactic history had ever received this title. Ambassador Yuna Choi appeared on screen, standing before the Council chambers. She was elegant in her formal robes, her gray hair pulled back neatly. She had represented Earth for 20 years, always with patience and grace. Today, we celebrate not just our achievement, but our commitment to a better future, Yuna said to the gathered aliens. Earth believes that civilization means choosing dialogue over destruction, understanding over hatred, and peace over war. We will continue this path, no matter the cost. The council members applauded. Tay Bin smiled. This was humanity's legacy. This was what they had built. Dr. Hana Kim sat in her laboratory on Earth, barely paying attention to the celebration outside. She was a xenobiologist, one of the best, and her work kept her busy studying alien cultures and biology. Understanding other species was how Earth had become so good at diplomacy. If you understood someone, you could find common ground with them. But Hana had been studying the Viridian Empire lately, and what she found troubled her. The Viridians were a warrior species, massive and powerful, with technology that rivaled the best in the galaxy. They had conquered 20 systems in the past century. Their culture valued strength above all else. Recently, the Viridians had been making aggressive moves near human colonies. They demanded territory, resources, and tribute. Ambassador Yuna had been negotiating with them for months, offering compromises and solutions, but the Viridians kept pushing for more. Hana pulled up her latest report. The Viridian commander, a brutal leader named Krelix, had publicly called humans soft and weak. He said Earth's pacifism was an insult to real civilization. In Viridian culture, refusing to fight meant you had no honor. She sent her report to the council, recommending caution, but she knew what would happen. The council would urge more negotiation, more patience. That was always their answer. Captain Jin Park threw another punch at the training dummy, watching it swing back. He was in the Defense Force gym, working out his frustration. Jin was young for a captain, only 32, but he had risen quickly through the ranks. He was good at his job, really good. The problem was that his job was mostly ceremonial. Earth's defense forces existed in name only. They had ships, weapons, and soldiers, but they were never allowed to use them. Every engagement required council approval. Every defensive action needed committee review. Jin had spent 10 years training to protect humanity, and in all that time, he had never fired a shot. His friend and fellow officer, Sung Lee, walked into the gym. "You watching the celebration?" "No point," Jin said, hitting the dummy again. "Another party about how we never fight back. That's the whole idea, Jin. We don't fight back because we don't need to. Diplomacy works." "Does it?" Jin stopped punching. "The Viridians have taken 3 mining stations in the past month. Yuna keeps negotiating, and they keep taking more. When does diplomacy become surrender?" Sung frowned. "You need to be careful talking like that." The council praises us for being weak," Jin interrupted. "They give us awards for letting others push us around." Before Sung could respond, an alarm sounded. Both officers looked at their communicators. Jin's face went pale as he read the message. "It's Arcturus Station," he said quietly. Viridian warships just entered the system. Arcturus Station was home to 50,000 humans. It was a mining colony, peaceful and productive, with families and schools and parks. Mia Han worked there as an engineer, maintaining the life support systems. She was good at her job and loved the quiet life on the station. She was having dinner with her daughter when the alarms started. At first, she thought it was a drill. Then she saw the emergency broadcast. "This is Station Command. We have confirmed Viridian military vessels approaching. This is not a drill. Remain calm. Earth forces are on their way. We are initiating peaceful contact protocols." Mia grabbed her daughter's hand. "Come on. We need to get to the shelter." Outside, she could see other families doing the same thing. Everyone was scared but trying to stay calm. Earth would handle this. Earth always handled these situations peacefully. Admiral Tabin's ship arrived at Arcturus 6 hours later. He brought a small diplomatic convoy, as ordered by the Council. His weapons were powered down, a gesture of peaceful intent. He sent a message to Commander Krelix, requesting dialogue. The Viridian's response came quickly. "You have 48 hours to evacuate this system. All human colonies in the Outer Rim will belong to the Viridian Empire. This is not negotiable." Tabin stayed calm. "Commander, we can discuss this. The Council has resources for mediation. There's no need for conflict." "Your weakness disgusts me," Krelix replied. "You speak of peace because you cannot fight. The strong take what they want. The weak give speeches." Tabin began evacuation protocols, focusing on the families first. He sent urgent messages to the Council, requesting immediate intervention. He contacted Ambassador Yuna, who promised to call an emergency session. On Earth, Yuna stood before empty council chambers. Most members had sent apologies. They were busy or unavailable. The few who attended offered sympathy but no action. "The Viridians are a powerful species," one council member said. "Perhaps Earth should consider their cultural perspective. Some species express themselves through displays of strength. They're threatening 50,000 civilians," Yuna said firmly, "and we hope this can be resolved peacefully," the council leader replied. Earth has always been so good at finding peaceful solutions. At Arcturus Station, Mia Han waited with her daughter in the evacuation bay. Ships were arriving to take families to safety. Tabin had organized everything perfectly, prioritizing children and elderly first. Mia felt grateful for Earth's efficiency. She didn't notice when the Viridian ships powered their weapons. She didn't see them target the evacuation vessels first. She only felt the station shake violently as the bombardment began. The last thing Admiral Tabin saw was his bridge exploding around him. He died, still believing that peace was possible. The massacre lasted 11 minutes. 47,328 humans died. Most of them never had a chance to run. Mia Han woke up in a medical bay 3 days later. Her body was covered in burns and cuts. The pain was terrible. But worse than the pain was the silence. She asked the nurse about her daughter. The nurse looked away and said nothing. That was how Mia knew. She learned later that only 2,672 people survived. Most of them were badly injured. Mia had been found in a collapsed corridor, buried under debris. Rescue teams had pulled her out barely alive. The nurse showed her the numbers. 47,328 dead. 12,000 of them were children. Admiral Tabin and his entire crew were gone. Every evacuation ship had been destroyed before leaving the station. "Why?" Mia whispered. The nurse had no answer. On Earth, Dr. Hana Kim stood in the council chambers. She had never wanted to be here, in this political place. She was a scientist, not a leader, but she was here now because everyone above her was dead. The Viridian attack had killed most of Earth's senior government, along with Admiral Tabin. The council members sat in their seats, looking uncomfortable. They had sent messages of sympathy. They had offered thoughts and prayers. But they had done nothing else. "We demand justice," Hana said clearly. The Viridian Empire committed an act of genocide against civilian targets. They murdered children. What will the council do? The council leader, A tall alien with blue skin shifted in his seat. Dr. Kim, we understand your pain. This is a tragedy. But the situation is complex. Complex? Hana's voice was cold. They murdered 50,000 people. What's complex about that? The Viridian Empire is a powerful member of the Council, another member said. We must consider diplomatic solutions. Sanctions could take months to approve. Military action would require years of debate. We don't have years, Hana said. We understand Earth is upset, the Council leader continued. But you must try to see this from the Viridian cultural perspective. In their society, your refusal to defend yourselves was seen as an invitation. They thought you were surrendering. Hana stared at them. You're blaming us for being peaceful. No, the alien said quickly. We're just saying that different cultures have different ways of communicating. Perhaps this was a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding that killed 47,000 people. The council members looked at each other. Finally, one spoke up. Dr. Kim, we must be honest with you. The Viridian Empire is too powerful to challenge. They have allies. If we sanction them, they might leave the council. That could start a war that would kill billions. So you'll do nothing, Hana said. We'll open a dialogue, the council leader promised. We'll ask them to apologize. We'll negotiate reparations. But you must be patient. Hana looked around the chamber. These were the species that had praised Earth for 75 years. They had given humans awards for being peaceful. They had called them the beacon of peace. But now, when Earth needed them, they were afraid. She thought about the 12,000 children. She thought about Admiral Tae Bin, who died believing peace was always possible. She thought about all the families who would never go home. No, Hana said quietly. I'm sorry? The council leader asked. No. Hana repeated. Louder this time. We won't be patient. We won't wait for your committees and debates. We won't let you negotiate our pain into nothing. She walked to the center of the chamber. Every species in the galaxy was watching this broadcast. Good. They all needed to hear this. For 75 years, Earth has been civilized, Hana said. We followed your rules. We trusted your justice system. We believed that being peaceful made us noble. We were wrong. The council members started talking at once, but Hana kept going. You taught us that civilization means being weak. That honor means letting others hurt you. That peace means accepting injustice. Her voice grew stronger. We learned your lessons well. But now we're done learning. Dr. Kim, please. Earth is withdrawing from the Galactic Council. Effective immediately, Hana announced. We will no longer follow your laws or respect your authority. From this moment forward, humanity makes its own rules. The chamber erupted in chaos. Aliens were shouting, trying to be heard. The council leader banged his gavel, demanding order. Hana ignored them all. She looked directly at the camera, knowing that somewhere in Viridian space, Commander Krelix was watching. To the Viridian Empire, we have one message, she said. You wanted to see Earth's strength. You called us weak and soft. You thought we couldn't fight. She paused. You were wrong. We're done being civilized. She turned and walked out of the chamber. Behind her, the galaxy erupted in panic. Captain Jin Park watched the broadcast from Earth's military headquarters. Around him, other officers sat in stunned silence. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Within seconds, the entire room was applauding. General Young Cho, the highest-ranking military officer left alive, stood up. He was an old man, almost 70. And Jin had always respected him. Young had fought in Earth's last war, over 100 years ago, before humanity joined the council. Finally, Young said simply. Jin looked at him. Sir, what happens now? Young smiled, and it wasn't a kind smile. Now we show them what humans really are. Gather all senior officers. We have work to do. Within hours, Jin found himself in a classified briefing room deep underground. Dr. Hana Kim was there, along with General Young, and about 20 other people Jin didn't recognize. Some wore military uniforms. Others wore civilian clothes. All of them looked serious. "Most of you don't know me," a woman said, standing up. "My name is Dr. Hyun Kang. I've spent the last 75 years working in Earth's Secret Research Division." Jin frowned. "Secret Research Division? When Earth joined the Council, we agreed to limit our weapons development," Hyun explained. "The Council said advanced weapons were uncivilized. They said we didn't need them because diplomacy would solve everything. Our leaders agreed publicly." She smiled. "But privately, some of us kept working. Just in case." She pulled up a holographic display. What Jin saw made his eyes go wide. "This is Project Overkill," Hyun continued. "Everything we've developed in secret for the past 7 decades. Ships that move faster than anything in the galaxy. Weapons that can destroy planets. Stealth technology that makes our vessels invisible. AI systems that can command entire fleets." "Why keep it secret?" someone asked. "Because the Council would never have allowed it," General Young answered. "They would have called us warmongers. They would have sanctioned us, isolated us, maybe even attacked us. So we played their game. We smiled and gave speeches about peace, while building the deadliest military force in galactic history." Hana spoke up. "For 75 years, we held back. We chose peace not because we were weak, but because we wanted to be better. We thought civilization meant avoiding war." Her face hardened. "But the galaxy mistook our choice for inability. They thought we couldn't fight. The Viridians killed our people because they thought we would do nothing." She looked around the room. "They were wrong. We can fight. We've always been able to fight. Humanity survived because we're very, very good at killing each other. We just stopped for a while. Now we're going to remember how." Jin felt something stirring in his chest. It was anger, yes, but also something else. Purpose. "What are our orders?" he asked. General Young pulled up a star map. It showed Viridian space, their colonies, their military bases, their home world. "We're going to dismantle the Viridian Empire," Young said calmly. "Completely. We'll destroy their military, occupy their worlds, and make sure they never threaten anyone again. The Council will try to stop us," someone pointed out. "Let them try," Hana said. "We don't answer to them anymore." Over the next 3 months, Earth transformed. Factories that had built peaceful trade ships now built warships. Scientists who studied alien cultures now developed weapons. Soldiers who trained for ceremonial duties now learned how to kill efficiently. Mia Han left the medical bay against doctor's orders. Her burns were still healing. But she didn't care. She went to the military recruitment center and signed up. The officer looked at her medical file. "Ma'am, you're not fit for service. You need more recovery time." "My daughter is dead," Mia said flatly. "I don't need recovery time. I need a weapon and a target." She was assigned to Special Forces training. It was brutal. Designed to break people. But Mia had already been broken. Now she was rebuilding herself into something harder. Captain Jin Park was promoted to general and given command of tactical operations. His first task was selecting crews for the new warships. He chose carefully, looking for people with the right mindset. People who were tired of being pushed around. People who remembered Arcturus. One of his choices was a young officer named Leah Song. She was brilliant, ruthless, and absolutely loyal. Jin gave her command of the flagship, a massive warship they named Times Arcturus Vengeance *. "We're going to war," Jin told her. "Real war. Not peacekeeping. Not defense. We're going to hurt them." Leah smiled. "Good." The first fleet launched on a cold morning. 300 ships, each carrying weapons the galaxy had never seen. As they left orbit, every human alive watched. Dr. Hana Kim broadcast one final message to the Viridian Empire. "You wanted war," she said. "You've awakened something that should have stayed sleeping. We gave you our best. Now you'll face our worst." Commander Krellick stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the approach of Earth's fleet. Around him, his officers prepared for battle. They were excited, eager to prove themselves against these weak humans. The Viridian Empire had never lost a war. They would not start now. How many ships do they have? Krelix asked. 300, Commander, his tactical officer reported. Small fleet. We have 800 warships ready to engage. Krelix laughed. The humans were foolish. They thought their tiny fleet could challenge the might of the Viridian Empire. This would be quick. Send a message to the human commander, he ordered. Tell them they have one chance to surrender. If they turn back now, we'll only kill half of them. The communications officer tried to send the message. He frowned. Commander, I can't locate their ships. What do you mean? They were there a moment ago, but now they're gone. All 300 ships just disappeared from our sensors. Krelix felt a twinge of worry, but he pushed it aside. Sensor malfunction. Get it fixed. Sir, all our systems are working perfectly. The ships are just gone. On the Bridge of Time's Arcturus Vengeance *, Captain Leah Song smiled as her ship slipped into full stealth mode. Around her, the rest of the human fleet did the same. To Viridian sensors, they had simply vanished. They can't see us, her tactical officer confirmed. Good, Leah said. Target their flagship first. I want Krelix to know we're here before he dies. The Time's Arcturus Vengeance Times moved silently through space, invisible and deadly. Leah had trained for this moment for 3 months. She knew exactly what to do. General Jin Park had been very clear in his orders. No mercy, no prisoners, no survivors. Singularity torpedoes armed and ready. Her weapons officer reported. Fire when you have a clean shot, Leah commanded. The torpedo launched silently, a small missile carrying a terrible weapon. When it hit Krelix's flagship, it would create a miniature black hole. Everything within 1,000 meters would be pulled in and crushed. The black hole would last only seconds, but that was enough. Krelix was still arguing with his officers about the sensor malfunction when his ship exploded. Not with fire, but with physics. The entire front section of the flagship folded in on itself, crushed into nothing by impossible gravity. Alarms screamed. The ship broke in half. He had 5 seconds to understand what was happening. Then the black hole reached the bridge, and Commander Krelix ceased to exist. All across the Viridian fleet, ships started dying. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. Crushed, destroyed, ripped apart by weapons they couldn't see or understand. The Viridian ships fired back, shooting at empty space, hitting nothing. Fall back, the Viridian second-in-command ordered. Retreat to defensive positions, but there was nowhere to retreat to. The human ships were everywhere and nowhere. They appeared just long enough to fire, then vanished again. It wasn't a battle. It was a slaughter. Mia Han watched from inside the special operations ship. Her team was different from the main fleet. While the big ships fought above, her team had a different mission. They were going to board Viridian command vessels and destroy them from the inside. Target locked, their pilot said. That's their communications hub. If we take it out, their fleet goes blind. Do it, the team leader ordered. The small craft latched onto the Viridian ship's hull. Mia and her team used cutting tools to burn through the armor. Inside, Viridian soldiers were waiting, but they weren't ready for humans in close combat. Humans were smaller than Viridians, but faster, more flexible. And right now, very angry. Mia moved through the corridor with her weapon raised. A Viridian soldier appeared, and she fired without hesitation. He went down. She kept moving. Another Viridian. Another shot. Her team spread through the ship like a virus, taking out systems and crew members. They reached the communications center. Mia planted explosives on the main computer while her teammates held the door. Viridian security forces were coming. Lots of them. 30 seconds, Mia said calmly. Her team fought. Humans fell, but more Viridians fell. The timer counted down. 10 seconds. Everyone out. They ran. Behind them, the explosives detonated, destroying the communications hub. The Viridian fleet lost coordination. Ships stopped responding to commands. They were isolated, alone, easy targets. General Jin Park watched the battle from the command ship. His tactical display showed the Viridian fleet falling apart. 800 ships reduced to 600. Then 400. Then 200. How long has the battle been going? He asked. 11 minutes, sir, his aide replied. Jin nodded. Any casualties on our side? None, sir. Not a single human ship damaged. Good. Jin opened a channel to all human ships. All vessels. Continue engagement. Leave nothing. I want the Viridians to understand what they've awakened. Dr. Hyun Kang watched from Earth, monitoring the new weapons in real time. Everything was working perfectly, better than perfectly. The singularity torpedoes were devastating. The stealth systems made human ships untouchable. The AI drones were hunting Viridian fighters with ruthless efficiency, but she felt no joy. This was necessary, but it wasn't good. War was never good. Still, the galaxy needed to see this. They needed to understand that humanity's peace had been a choice, not a weakness. She pulled up communication logs from across the galaxy. Dozens of species were watching the battle. The Council had demanded Earth stop. Other empires had sent warnings. But mostly, they were all just scared. Good. Fear would keep them from making the same mistake the Viridians made. On the battlefield, the last Viridian ships were trying to escape. Captain Leah Song wasn't allowing it. She pursued them ruthlessly, her ship cutting through space faster than anything the Viridians had ever seen. They're begging for mercy, her communications officer said. Did they show mercy to the children at Arcturus? Leah asked. No, ma'am. Then we show them what they showed us. Nothing. The last Viridian ship exploded in silence. The battle was over. The human fleet regrouped. 300 ships. All intact. All ready to continue. Jin Park sent out the casualty report. 800 Viridian ships destroyed. Over 2 million Viridian military personnel dead. Human casualties. 0 ships lost. 47 soldiers dead from the boarding operations. Mia Han stood in her ship's medical bay, getting treated for a wound on her arm. She had survived another fight. Around her, her teammates were being treated, or helping others. 47 humans had died today, but they had taken down an empire's fleet. We did good, her team leader said. Mia thought about the numbers. 47,000 humans dead at Arcturus. 47 humans dead today. It wasn't even close to even yet. It's not enough, she said. General Young Cho addressed the fleet. He was old and tired, but his voice was strong. Today we showed the galaxy what happens when you attack humanity. But this is not over. This was just their fleet. Their empire still stands. Their homeworld is untouched. They still think they can win. He paused. We're going to prove them wrong. Set course for Viridian space. We're going to their home. The fleet turned toward the Viridian homeworld. Behind them, the debris of 800 ships floated in space. The battle had lasted 11 minutes. The war was just beginning. Across the galaxy, species watched in horror. The Council held an emergency meeting. Some members demanded intervention. Others said Earth should be expelled. A few wise ones said nothing at all. On one distant world, an alien historian watched the recordings of the battle. He had studied human history, their past before joining the Council. He knew what they had been. They were never peaceful, he said quietly to himself. They were just resting. Dr. Hana Kim received reports from the battle. She read the numbers carefully. Then she recorded a message to the galaxy. For 75 years, we chose civilization over barbarism. We chose peace over war. We chose understanding over hatred. We made that choice because we believed it was right, not because we couldn't choose violence. She looked directly at the camera. The Viridian Empire thought our choice made us weak. They murdered 50,000 civilians to prove their strength. Now, they're learning the difference between choosing peace and being incapable of war. She closed the transmission and looked at the battle footage one more time. The Viridian ships being destroyed. The black holes consuming everything. The complete and total victory. It should have felt good. It didn't. It just felt necessary. How many ships did they have at their homeworld? She asked General Young. About 2,000, he replied. But now they're scared. They're pulling back forces from their colonies, concentrating their defense. Good. Let them gather together. It'll make this easier. Young looked at her. You've changed, Hana. No, she said quietly. I just remembered what humans are. We're not the peaceful species the council thought we were. We're predators who learn to play nice, but when something threatens our pack, we remember our nature. She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Earth continued its preparations. More ships being built. More weapons being manufactured. More soldiers being trained. How long until the fleet reaches Viridian space? She asked. 18 days at maximum speed. Tell them to take their time. Hana said. Let the Viridians wait. Let them wonder. Let them be afraid. Fear is a teacher. And they have a lot to learn. The first fleet moved through space like a knife through darkness. Behind them, the galaxy held its breath. Ahead of them, the Viridian Empire prepared for war. But deep down, they were starting to understand the truth. They hadn't awakened a sleeping giant. They had awakened a nightmare. The Viridian homeworld was a massive planet, home to 15 billion people. Its cities stretched across continents, gleaming with technology and power. For 300 years, no enemy had ever threatened this world. The Viridians believed their homeworld was untouchable. Admiral Young Cho stood on the bridge of his command ship, looking at the planet below. Around it, 2,000 Viridian warships formed defensive lines. They had pulled forces from every colony, every outpost, every corner of their empire. Everything they had was here. They're scared, his tactical officer observed. They should be, Young replied. The human fleet numbered only 300 ships, but that hadn't mattered at the last battle. The Viridians knew this. They had sent messages begging for talks. They offered reparations, apologies, even the heads of their military leaders. Anything to stop what was coming. Dr. Hana Kim had responded with a single word. No. Now Young opened a channel to the Viridian government. A face appeared on screen. One of their leaders. He looked tired and afraid. Admiral Young, please. We can negotiate. Name your terms. Terms? Young said quietly. You attacked civilian targets. You murdered children. You thought humans were too weak to fight back. Now you want terms? It was a mistake. Commander Krelix acted without proper authorization. We've removed him from command. He's dead, Young interrupted. We killed him 3 weeks ago. Along with 2 million of your soldiers. The Viridian leader was sweating now. Then justice has been served. We can end this. The council has offered to mediate. We don't recognize the council's authority anymore, Young said. And justice hasn't been served. Not even close. You killed 47,000 humans. We've only killed 2 million Viridians. The math doesn't add up yet. You can't be serious. You're talking about genocide. No, Young said. We're talking about consequences. You have 1 hour to surrender unconditionally. If you refuse, we begin the siege. The Viridian leader tried to argue, tried to negotiate, tried everything. But Young ended the transmission. The hour began counting down. Captain Leah Song prepared her ship for battle. This would be different from the last fight. The Viridians were ready now. Concentrated and desperate. They would fight harder. Some humans might die, but that was acceptable. This wasn't about winning without losses. This was about making the Viridians understand what they had done. All ships report ready, her communications officer said. Good. When the hour is up, we begin. Across the galaxy, billions watched. The Council had begged Earth to stop. Other species had sent messages of support to the Viridians. A few had even threatened to intervene if Earth attacked the homeworld. General Jin Park had responded to those threats simply, try it. None of them did. They were all too afraid. The hour ended. The Viridian government refused to surrender. They said their honor wouldn't allow it. They would fight to defend their homeworld. Fight. To the last soldier. So be it, Young said. He gave the order. The human fleet didn't attack. Instead, they spread out, forming a perfect sphere around the entire planet. Every ship locked into position. Every weapon aimed inward. What are they doing? The Viridian defense commander asked. Why aren't they attacking? He got his answer soon enough. The human ships activated a barrier system, a web of energy that surrounded the entire world. Nothing could get in or out. No ships, no communications, no trade. The Viridian homeworld was now in a cage. This is a blockade, the defense commander realized. They're going to starve us out. He was partially right, but it was worse than he thought. Dr. Hyun Kang initiated the second phase of the siege. From the human ships, powerful transmitters began broadcasting. Every screen on the Viridian homeworld, every computer, every communication device, all of them flickered to life, and they showed the same thing. The Arcturus massacre. The evacuation ships exploding. Children dying. Families burned alive. The footage played on loop. Over and over. Impossible to stop. What is this? Viridians shouted at their government. What did we do? The government tried to shut down the broadcasts, but they couldn't. Human technology was too advanced. Every hour, for 12 hours a day, the Viridian people watched what their empire had done. They saw the children. They saw the civilians. They saw Admiral Tae Bin trying to negotiate even as his ship was destroyed. Mia Han watched from her ship. Dr. Hyun had asked her permission to use footage from Arcturus. Footage that showed Mia's daughter. She had said yes, the galaxy needed to see. The Viridians needed to understand. On the Viridian homeworld, public opinion started to shift. At first, people supported their government. This was war, they said. Earth was the aggressor now, but as the footage played day after day, some started to question. They killed children, a Viridian mother said to her husband. They targeted evacuation ships. That's not war. That's murder. Protests started in the streets. Small at first, then larger. Viridians demanding their government surrender. Viridians ashamed of what had been done in their name. The Viridian military tried to break the blockade. They sent their fleet against the human ships. It was suicide. The human vessels barely moved. They simply destroyed any ship that came close. Singularity torpedoes consumed entire battle groups. After losing 300 ships in one day, the Viridians stopped trying. The siege continued. 1 week, 2 weeks, a month. The Viridian economy collapsed. They were a trading empire, dependent on imports from their colonies. Without trade, food became scarce. Energy became limited. People started suffering. The government sent another message to Admiral Young. Please. Our people are starving. Let food shipments through. No, Young replied. Your people can eat their pride. It was harsh. It was cruel. But it was calculated. Young wanted the Viridian people to blame their government, not Earth. He wanted them to understand that their leaders' choices had consequences. On day 35 of the siege, the Viridian government announced they would surrender. They sent official documents, signed and sealed. They agreed to every demand. Admiral Young read the surrender terms. Then he sent a message that shocked everyone. We didn't ask for your surrender, he said calmly. We asked which of your cities you want us to spare. The Viridian leaders couldn't believe it. You're refusing our surrender? You murdered 50,000 civilians, Young said. You don't get to surrender and walk away. You wanted to show strength? We'll show you strength. Choose 5 cities. We'll spare those. The rest, we destroy. The galaxy erupted in panic. The Council condemned Earth. Other species threatened intervention. Peace organizations begged for mercy. Dr. Hana Kim addressed them all in a public broadcast. For weeks, you've been silent, she said. When the Viridians killed our people, you did nothing. You said it was complicated. You said we should understand their culture. You said we should be patient. Her voice was ice. Now you find your voices. Now you demand mercy. Where was your mercy when our children died? The protests grew louder. Some species sent military fleets toward Viridian space. General Jin Park met them at the border. Turn back, he said simply. This is not your fight. You can't destroy cities full of civilians, the alien commander argued. They did it to us, Jin replied. Or don't civilian lives matter when they're human? The alien fleet hesitated. Jin didn't. He locked weapons on them. Turn back, or share the Viridians' fate. The fleet turned back. Inside Viridian space, something unexpected happened. The Viridian people themselves started evacuating their cities. They didn't wait for their government. They didn't ask permission. Mothers grabbed their children and fled. Families packed what they could and left. The Viridian government watched in horror as millions of their own people abandoned their cities, choosing to live in the wilderness rather than wait for Earth's judgment. On day 45, a different kind of message reached Admiral Young. It wasn't from the government. It was from Viridian civilians. Tens of millions of them. "We surrender," they said. "Not our government. Us. The people. We're sorry for what was done. We're ashamed. Please. Spare our cities. We'll give you anything." Mia Han was in the command center when the message came through. She watched as ordinary Viridians, people who looked terrified and broken, begged for their lives. She thought about her daughter. She thought about all the families at Arcturus who never got a chance to beg. But she also saw something in these aliens' eyes. Real fear. Real regret. Real understanding of what they had done. "What do we do?" someone asked Admiral Young. The old general was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "Get Dr. Kim on the line." Hana appeared on screen from Earth. Young explained the situation. The people were surrendering, not the government. The cities were being evacuated. The whole empire was falling apart. "What's your recommendation?" Hana asked. "The Viridian government is already destroyed," Young said. "Their economy is gone. Their military is broken. Their people hate them. We've won completely. The question is, what we do now?" Hana thought about revenge. She thought about justice. She thought about the 12,000 children. Then she thought about what humanity had been trying to be for 75 years. Civilized. Better than this. "The people who killed our civilians are dead," she said slowly. "The government that gave the orders is powerless. If we destroy cities now, we're not punishing the guilty. We're just killing more innocents." "So we show mercy?" Young asked. "No," Hana said firmly. "Mercy implies they deserve forgiveness. They don't. But we're not doing this for them. We're doing this for us. Humanity chose to be better once. We can choose it again. Now that everyone understands we don't have to be." She took a deep breath. "End the siege. Accept their surrender. But make it clear. The Viridian Empire is over. They will disarm completely. They will pay reparations for generations. They will remember what they did." Young nodded slowly. He opened a channel to the Viridian people. "Your surrender is accepted," he announced. "Your government is dissolved. Your military is disbanded. You will spend the next century paying for your crimes. But your cities will stand. Your children will live." He paused. "Not because you deserve mercy, but because humanity chooses to be better than you were." The Viridian homeworld erupted in relief. People celebrated in the streets. But it was a hollow celebration. They had survived, but everything else was gone. Their empire, their pride, their future, all destroyed in 60 days. Captain Leah Song watched the celebrations from orbit. She felt nothing. 47,000 humans were still dead. Justice hadn't really been served. But maybe that was the point. Maybe real justice was impossible. Maybe this was the best they could do. The Galactic Council chambers were full for the first time in months. Every species had sent representatives. They were all terrified. Earth had dismantled the Viridian Empire in 90 days. Now no one knew what humanity would do next. Dr. Hana Kim walked into the chamber with General Jin Park and Admiral Leah Song flanking her. The room went silent. Every alien eye watched them. Some with fear. Some with respect. All with caution. The council leader, the same one who had offered nothing but sympathy after Arcturus, stood up. He looked older now, more tired. "Dr. Kim, Earth has made its point. The galaxy understands your strength. We ask that you rejoin the council and work with us to rebuild peace." Hana stopped in the center of the chamber. She looked around at all the species that had abandoned humanity when it mattered most. Peace. she said quietly. For 75 years, Earth believed in peace. We followed your rules. We trusted your justice system. We thought civilization meant being gentle. She paused. Then you let our people die and called it complicated. The council leader shifted uncomfortably. We made mistakes. We were wrong to not act faster. But surely you understand our position. No, Hana interrupted. I don't understand how you can watch children being murdered and do nothing. I don't understand how you can preach civilization while rewarding violence. I don't understand how you sleep at night. Another council member stood up, a small alien with green skin. Dr. Kim, with respect. Earth's response was extreme. You destroyed an entire empire. Millions died. Millions of soldiers died, Jin Park corrected coldly. We could have killed billions of civilians. We chose not to. That's called restraint. You held a planet hostage, another alien shouted. They held our children hostage to their brutality. Lia Song replied. We just returned the favor with better technology. The arguments went back and forth. Some species condemned Earth. Others stayed silent. A few, very quietly, said they understood why humanity had done what they did. Finally, Hana raised her hand. The chamber fell silent. Earth will not rejoin the council, she announced. We no longer trust your authority or respect your rules. Instead, we're announcing new terms for galactic relations. We call them the Arcturus Accords. She pulled up a holographic document. Every species in the chamber received a copy. The Arcturus Accords are simple, Hana explained. First, any attack on civilian targets will result in immediate military response from Earth. Not sanctions, not negotiations, war. Second, Earth will establish protection zones around species that request our help. Third, any species that commits genocide or mass murder will face the same fate as the Viridian Empire. The chamber erupted in chaos, aliens shouting, arguing, protesting. The council leader banged his gavel. You can't just declare yourself the galaxy's police force. Why not? Hana asked. You proved you won't do it. Someone has to. This is tyranny, someone shouted. No, Hana said firmly. Tyranny is standing by while innocents die. This is accountability. For 75 years, we let you define civilization. Now we're redefining it ourselves. Civilization doesn't mean being peaceful. It means being strong enough to protect peace, and terrible enough that no one dares threaten it. She looked around the chamber. Earth will no longer ask permission to defend the defenseless. We will no longer wait for committees to debate while people die. We tried your way. It failed. Now we do things our way. General Youngcho, watching from Earth, smiled. This was what humanity should have said 75 years ago. Better late than never. Over the next few weeks, the galaxy adjusted to the new reality. Some species protested. Most accepted it. A few even welcomed it. 47 species requested Earth's protection. Small worlds, peaceful cultures, species that had been bullied by larger empires for centuries. They saw what Earth did to the Viridians and thought, finally someone who will actually help. Earth accepted all 47 requests. They established protection zones, stationed fleets, and made it very clear. Attack these worlds, and you attack Earth. Overnight, aggression in the galaxy dropped by 70%. Warlords suddenly became diplomats. Pirates found new careers. Empires that had been planning conquests quietly canceled their plans. No one wanted to be the next Viridian Empire. Captain Lia Song was promoted to admiral and given command of the Rapid Response Fleet. Her job was simple. Respond to threats immediately and decisively. She was very good at it. One time, a pirate group attacked a trade convoy in a protected zone. Lia's fleet arrived within hours. The pirates tried to negotiate, tried to apologize, tried to run. None of it worked. Lia destroyed every pirate ship and broadcasted the battle to the whole sector. The message was clear. Earth's protection was real. General Jin Park became the head of Earth's military. He spent his days coordinating defenses, training new soldiers, and making sure humanity never forgot how to fight. He was respected across the galaxy, but also feared. Once, an aggressive empire sent an ambassador to Earth, demanding that humanity reduce their military presence. Jin met with the ambassador personally. "Your fleet makes us nervous," the alien said. "Good," Jin replied. "That's the point. As long as you're nervous, you'll think twice before doing anything stupid." The ambassador left without getting his demands met. Dr. Hyun Kang continued developing new weapons, but she also started sharing some technology with protected species, not weapons, but defense systems. She taught smaller worlds how to protect themselves. "We can't be everywhere," she explained to Hana. "But we can give others the tools to defend themselves. That's better than making them dependent on us." Mia Han never returned to engineering. She stayed in the military, leading special operations. She was quiet, efficient, and absolutely ruthless when needed, but she also helped establish the Arcturus Memorial Foundation. The foundation built a massive memorial station where the old colony had been. It listed all 47,328 names, every single person who died. The station was maintained by Viridian volunteers, people who had to work there as part of the reparations agreement. Mia visited often. She would stand in front of the wall bearing her daughter's name and remember. Some days, young Viridians would ask her questions. She always answered honestly. "Why do we have to maintain this memorial?" one young Viridian asked her once. "So you remember what your empire did," Mia replied. "So you never do it again. But I wasn't even born when it happened. Why should I be punished?" Mia looked at the young alien. "You're not being punished. You're being taught. There's a difference." And Dr. Hana Kim became the first Secretary General of the New Earth Federation. It was a position she never wanted. But someone had to do it. Her job was to balance Earth's power with its responsibility. She met with alien leaders, negotiated treaties, and made the hard decisions. Some days, she wondered if they had done the right thing. Other days, she was certain. One evening, she received a message from the council leader. He wanted to meet privately. Hana agreed. They met in a neutral location, just the two of them. The alien looked tired, defeated. "You've changed everything," he said. "The whole galactic order we built over 1,000 years. Gone in 3 months. Your order allowed the strong to prey on the weak," Hana replied. "It needed to change, perhaps." The alien was quiet for a moment. "Do you know what species call you now?" "The humans? I can imagine several names, none of them flattering. They call you the Wardens," the alien said. "The species that guards the galaxy. Some say it with respect, others with fear. But everyone says it." Hana thought about that. The Wardens. It was better than some alternatives. "Fear and respect," she said quietly. "Maybe that's what the galaxy needed. Someone who could be kind but also terrible. Someone who chose peace, but could wage war better than anyone." "Is that what you've become?" the alien asked. "The galaxy's enforcer?" "We've become what we always were," Hana replied. "Predators who learn to be civilized. We just forgot that being civilized doesn't mean being harmless. It means choosing when to use our teeth." 10 years passed. The galaxy settled into the new order. Wars became rare. Slavery ended in dozens of systems. Piracy nearly vanished. Smaller species flourished under Earth's protection. The Viridian people rebuilt slowly, quietly. They were no longer an empire. Just another species trying to survive. Their children grew up learning about the massacre as a cautionary tale. Some of them even joined Earth's military, wanting to make amends. The council still existed. But everyone knew real power rested with Earth. Some species resented this. Most accepted it. A few genuinely appreciated it. One day, Mia Han stood at the Arcturus Memorial with a group of visitors. Among them was a young Viridian, maybe 20 years old. He stared at the names on the wall, tears in his eyes. "My grandfather was a soldier," he said quietly. "He fought in the war. He told me what happened before he died. He said he was ashamed every day of his life." Mia didn't know what to say. The Viridians had paid for their crimes. Their empire was gone. Their military destroyed. Their economy still recovering. Was that enough? She looked at the young Viridian, seeing genuine remorse. Your grandfather was right to be ashamed, she said finally. But you're here, learning from it. That's something. Are humans still angry at us? He asked. Mia thought about her daughter. She would have been 27 now. Maybe married. Maybe with children of her own. All the life she never got to live. Some of us are. Mia admitted. We'll probably always be angry. At least a little. But we're not seeking revenge anymore. We've moved on to something else. What's that? Making sure it never happens again, to anyone. That evening, Mia stood alone at the memorial after everyone left. She placed her hand on her daughter's name, as she had done 1,000 times before. We did it, she whispered. We made them understand. We made the galaxy safer. I hope that means something. The stars shone above the memorial. Billions of them, each representing a world. Somewhere out there, species lived in peace because Earth had proven it would defend them. Children grew up safe because humanity had shown what happened to those who hurt the innocent. It wasn't perfect. It would never be perfect. But it was better than before. Dr. Hana Kim, now an old woman, gave a speech on the 10th anniversary of the Arcturus Accords. People from hundreds of worlds watched. 10 years ago, we learned a terrible lesson, she said. We learned that kindness without strength is weakness. That peace without the ability to defend it is just waiting to be broken. That civilization isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about being strong enough to protect what matters and wise enough to know when to use that strength. She looked into the camera, knowing billions watched. Earth is not perfect. We made mistakes. We showed mercy too late for some and maybe too early for others. But we proved something important. Being civilized doesn't mean being harmless. It means being powerful enough to destroy your enemies and choosing not to unless you must. She smiled. Just a little. The galaxy feared us. Some still do. But fear and respect are two sides of the same coin. We wanted to be respected for our peace. Now we're respected for our strength. That's not what we wanted, but it's what the galaxy needed. The broadcast ended. Hana sat back in her chair, feeling every one of her 70 years. General Jin Park, now also old and gray, sat across from her. Do you think we did the right thing? She asked him. Jin was quiet for a long time. We did what we had to do. Maybe that's the same thing. I love. Maybe, Hana agreed. They sat in comfortable silence, two old warriors who had helped reshape the galaxy. Outside, Earth continued its watch. Ships patrolled protected zones. Soldiers trained for battles they hoped would never come. Scientists developed weapons they prayed would never be used. Humanity had learned its lesson. They would never again be caught unprepared. They would never again trust others to protect them. They would never again mistake peace for weakness. The galaxy had learned its lesson too. Humanity was kind until you gave them a reason not to be. And if you gave them that reason, you'd face something more terrible than any empire, any fleet, any weapon. You'd face a species that had spent millions of years learning to be the deadliest predator on their planet, and then chose to be civilized instead. And when that civilization ended, even for a moment, you'd remember why humanity had been the apex predator in the first place.